Yeah, it is.
Okay, sweet. Thank you so much for meeting me here.
Yeah, no, thank you.
So I did kind of want to get to the basis of what you guys were envisioning for the project. I know you're interested in the economic development and growth that's happening at this specific location, and that's why you've chosen it. And we appreciate that you're interested in it and want to learn more about why you're interested in it and if there's any way we can help you and come to some sort of agreement.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, as you know, discount company, I mean, we're really interested in the location's great. We feel like the market, as you mentioned, it really is a great opportunity for us. And as it sounds like it feels the same for you, a great opportunity for you guys having us as an anchor for you guys. We, as we've met in the past, there's just been some various concerns, but it definitely feels like a great opportunity for the both of us. What was your original question again?
Just main interests that you have with the property, and like you said, some of the concerns you have. I'm aware of a few, but maybe you'd like to clarify for me, just so I can get a better understanding.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that we're leading national. So we're doing pretty good in retail, and we're just looking to expand. We feel that this location has a lot of traffic, and we feel that this would be a good business move for us as well as you guys. Basically, we're just wanting to expand our business as much as possible, with hopes to basically build our reputation.
Okay, yeah, and I believe that this is a great opportunity for you as well, mainly because the numbers came back and it looks like we're going to have a pretty high traffic area, like you said, with the mixed market and a really wide variety of consumers. And we do want a large retailer in that position, the larger space, and then we would have a few smaller retailers surrounding to help attract a wider variety of consumers. So just to give you a little bit of background around that and kind of what our reports have been saying thus far. What would you say is your biggest concern with the agreement or with being placed in this development?
Yeah, I know that, I guess the biggest concern, I know that we sent you guys our clause, kind of the, some things that we were hoping for, and you guys sent back kind of a rebuttal to that because of some concerns you guys were having, but as of right now, I guess that would kind of be the biggest concern of the lack of ability to adapt, because it's kind of hard for we can tell right now the market looks great. We know that it'll be very profitable for us, very profitable for everyone, all the satellite companies within your mall, but I guess just the difficulty in 10 to 20 years, it's kind of hard to tell. Will things still be great then as great as it is now? And so we're just kind of concerned about that ability to be able to introduce new products, be able to I guess shorten the lease, to do the ability to sublease, lease in case troubles do arise within that time span.
Okay. And if I were in your shoes, I completely understand those concerns. I would feel the exact same way, and I'm hoping, and the reason why I arranged this meeting today is to kind of go over your clause and my clause and see if there's any kind of middle ground we can meet at that could satisfy both of our needs. Like I said, because you're a very large retailer, and we'd be more than happy to do business with you, and if you don't see that we would be fit in doing so, we could potentially recommend you to someplace else that may not be as successful or as profitable, but like I said, I'm just here to make sure that you get what you want, and that if there's any mutual conclusion that we can come to, I'd be happy to arrange that.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate that. We're kind of on the same page. We of course love your mall. We definitely want to be a part of it, so we'd love to be able to work something out. So that's great.
Thank you. Yeah. So let's see here. One of the main concerns that you have, if I heard you correctly, is the flexibility. You want that flexibility because obviously there's going to be some form of uncertainty within the economy, especially over long term. And originally, I think what we had talked about last time was a 25-year term. And I believe that from what you've said, is maybe a little bit far-reaching. And I wanted to get more of a consensus of where you would feel comfortable if we were to sign the lease. Would it be somewhere around maybe 15 years?
I think one thing that I talked to Kevin before we came in was maybe perhaps we do perhaps a 10-year agreement.
Okay.
And then after that, depending on how our business is looking, see, if we're actually, hitting our goals and able to basically, progress like we want to, we would either continue, like renew that lease after the 10 years, or if we're not doing as great, we would want within those so after those 10 years, we'll take an additional 5 years for you guys to find someone else to lease to.
Okay.
But meanwhile that, we would like to perhaps sublease it to someone else so we don't, lose as much of our investment as we would like.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like to give you time to find someone else, but as well as to give us some time to, earn some of the money back that we, probably maybe, hopefully not, but potentially could lose.
Okay, yeah, and I understand that completely, and it seems like both of us have a common interest, which is in just the initial investment of it and getting some of that ROI. And I did a little bit of research with our financial department, and it seems as though it would take about 10 years, maybe 12, for the financing to be sufficient for this project, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And we would need to find a credit-worthy anchor retailer such as yourself, and that would be the ideal. Basically, it would take about 10 years to refinance it for us on our end, and 10 to 12 years, I should say. So if you're happy with the 10-year lease, maybe we can put a mark on that and just put it away for now, and then come back to it later and see what else or other concerns you have that I can potentially address for you. So I think you mentioned the subleasing or subletting, and I don't know if you're aware of some of the legal implications of that, but I thought I'd describe it to you a little bit more in detail, as we've been doing this for 20 years and have plenty of experience with the subletting, subleasing, and all of those implications. What we found, unfortunately, is a lot of competition arises, and a lot of legal fallouts have occurred through the subletting and all of that, and I'm aware you have a great legal team and everyone prepared for that, but just to avoid any loss of potential revenue for you, I think it'd be best to ignore that part. Just if we were to have even somebody smaller within that within the mall that would compete against you, it would still detract them from your store, and I fear that you wouldn't get the most out of it, out of your investment with that. And with that also, it would protect you, and it would protect our other smaller tenants or potential tenants that we would get. But mainly, I'm focused on protecting you as our biggest client, and I just thought you should be aware of that and kind of know what your thoughts are.
Okay, so is that kind of like your biggest concern right now in regards to subleasing or assigning? I know that we've talked about assigning in past negotiations. Is that kind of your biggest concern? Is it just kind of the concern for us, or is there other maybe underlying things? Because I know that's kind of been a setback.
Yeah.
I guess what's kind of been the biggest concern for you guys in regards to the subleasing and assigning?
So with that, we found early on in our experience how the subleasing and assigning, a lot of times even large and reputable retailers would assign or sublease to someone who wasn't as creditworthy, who didn't hold up their end of the deal and caused a lot of competition and, like I said, a lot of legal strife, just among themselves mostly, not as much with us. And seeing that kind of destroys the whole reason for why we're in business, and that's to provide an opportunity for businesses to grow and not compete so ferociously and to experience such legal troubles and end up getting set back rather than boosted forward. So that's why I say your concern, I have your concerns at heart because I've seen that happen,
Right.
and that's why we try to stay away from it as much as possible.
Okay. Which I completely understand where you're coming from. I guess it's just been kind of hard because with our other companies, that's kind of I guess what we've done before. I mean, in all other 200 locations that we have, that's kind of what we've done, and so I guess that's just kind of hard, kind of changing compared to what all our other locations have done. Something, and I don't know if this is something that would work for you guys, but I know something that's been done in businesses in the past is the ability for the anchor and the satellites to work together when products are similar. And so let's say, because discount, we're a constantly changing business. And so we would, what would you think about the consideration of the ability for, let's say you have a business, I guess like an automotive business, a satellite business within there. If Discount were to come out with an automotive product, we would be more than willing to work hand in hand with the satellite companies in regards to promotions, pricing, just something that would be able to be beneficial for the both of us. It would just be hard within our business if all the other discount stores changed to something and then all of a sudden, this one discount store is stuck in something that our analysts have found to not be as beneficial anymore. Is that something that you would consider a solution to be able to introduce new products into the market, into our market?
So I completely understand that you are a growing company, and that's one of the things that I talked about with my team prior to meeting with you here. And even I think it even says in our initial Article 22, let me see if I can just double check that as long as we have written consent, maybe it's in the one I sent you, but if we have that written consent, I would appreciate that, and I appreciate your flexibility as well. That way we can just get it approved and make sure that it fits within the legal means. I'm sure if you were to release a automotive product, even though we had an automotive product store, with you being such a large retailer, I think that might be something we can do legally and realistically. Like I said, I just would need the written consent from you, or you would need the written consent from me, but I would need your inquiry based off of that, just so we cover all of our bases and we don't get into any legal trouble down the road, and make sure that we're following all the guidelines specified, and that our tenants aren't kind of going behind our backs and inadvertently causing havoc in our mall.
So just to clarify, basically what you want us to do is before we basically release a new product or have an idea, you want us to basically make a statement and to basically give it to you guys so you guys can approve it before we do?
Yes.
Is that what you guys want? Okay.
Because we want you to grow, and that's the whole purpose of meeting here today, is just seeing if this is an opportunity for us both to grow as businesses. And I will do everything within my power to help you achieve that, as long as you're willing to be flexible and meet my needs as well.
So, for example, what would be an instance if we were to provide something and you guys were to reject it? What could we be able to do in that case? What would be our, plan B? What would we be able to do in that situation? For example, so if we want this product to help expand our business, because we might see that we're struggling in other departments, and we want to open up a new department to basically help stabilize our company or our store in this case. And then we do propose something, we do get rejected. What would we be able to do? Because I don't want to like say yes to something and then us not have the ability to still find a way to help ourselves. Because I do agree that I do like that idea that we're on the same page, but at the same time we also want to see what's best for our business in order to be able to continue with the business.
Thank you for your question. I'm glad you clarified that. So what I was thinking, and I'd love to hear anything else that you guys have in mind, but what I was thinking was we could provide a way, say, for instance, let's go back to the automotive product example. Say, for instance, my head management rejects your inquiry about selling that within your stores. Potentially we could connect you to the automotive company, the smaller retailer within our mall, and you could sell your product to them, still get the revenue, and they would get a very small portion off of that, and it would still be branded as discount. So you'd get that brand recognition that would remain consistent, as I'm aware that's one of your concerns. And I believe that's a mutually beneficial relationship for all parties involved. However, if you have any more ideas, I'm completely open-minded and willing to hear.
One idea, or were you going to say something?
Oh, you can go ahead.
I guess one idea would be, at least for for a certain amount of period, you guarantee one, approved, just make sure that you're not just going to say no each time. Just for example, an idea would be every 3 months we're guaranteed at least one approved product or added thing. Depending on what we ask for, I definitely would definitely impact your decision. But I just want to make sure that it doesn't have to be every 3 months. It could be once every 12 months, 6 months. But I just want us to have at least that that little freedom to be able to work our business as we want to.
Yes, and as of right now, I probably would have to go over TAD management to clarify that. But I'll take that and kind of put it aside for now. I don't want to just disregard your concern. I'll get back to it, and if I don't, you can remind me.
Okay.
I just want to clarify that what I proposed earlier, if there's a product that we can't approve legally, but we can connect you with the business and sell it in your brand in the same location, would that be something that would be appealing to you?
Yeah, that's definitely something we would be able to consider, and I feel like that's reasonable. But I just again just want to make sure so that we have a little bit of that freedom. That's why I threw that other idea out there. But yeah, definitely that does sound appealing to me.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. And with that idea, I honestly see that if it's a smaller product or not as significant as your whole store, I guess is what I'm saying. If you're not coming out with major changes to your business, that would just completely change who you are as a company, I believe that I'd be confident in saying that we could approve at least a few of your products that would come out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that sounds great. And so I think that definitely covers, that was one of the big concerns that we did have. I guess still in regards to the concern about if the market, let's say the market, a disaster happens within the market, and we don't want to be stuck, within those 25 years losing money. We would hope that, and I can understand where you guys are coming from as well, just, if your anchor leaves, now you're kind of just stuck with a mall with a bunch of satellites, and I can understand that would hurt you guys significantly. And so I guess our hope is still being able to have the possibility of the ability to have that flexibility. As my partner here mentioned earlier about, is that something that could be in consideration of in 10 years we meet, see how the market is doing. If things are going great, we continue on with the lease. But if not, we could give you guys 5 years to be able to find a new anchor that would take our place after those 5 years, which I don't know if that would be enough. 5 years to find a new anchor. But I'm just wondering, is that something that could be considered as a solution for that possibly, or is there concerns within that?
I believe that is pretty reasonable and fair. And I appreciate you giving options for me to be flexible also. And I think that's, like I said, pretty fair of a deal, and I'd be willing to agree to that. And also, I'd be willing to offer our financial team, and maybe your financial team and ours can work together to create as accurate projections as possible. So we are well aware of the market conditions ahead of time, and if we need to make any sort of decision like that, we're well prepared.
Okay. Yeah, but that'd be fantastic. And I appreciate you providing your resources to help us as well. And we'd of course love to work with you guys in regards to ensuring, the mall be profitable. And so I think that'd be great. But let's say at those 10 years, let's say things aren't going well and you guys turn out needing to find a new anchor. Would having that ability to sublease be, because what was it again? What was the biggest concern again in regards to subleasing? Is it just the thought of having the 2 anchors? As you mentioned, just having 2 anchors would kind of mess things up, the logistics of the mall.
It wouldn't be necessarily the 2 anchors, it would just be the legal and financial implications that would follow. It would mostly just be legally the competition that would arise, and it would just kind of wreak havoc on the market within the mall. Additionally, it would also be detrimental for us financially, and I can almost guarantee it'd be detrimental for you as well financially. Even if it's a smaller number for you, it's still something that you'd be missing out on in terms of an ROI. And that's why I try to just avoid it at all costs, because it's something that has hurt businesses, and I've just seen it better. Even though it seems like it may help businesses in the end, I've seen it mostly hurt them.
Right.
And that's the last thing I want. So at the end of the 10 years, to answer your question, if the market's doing well and things are going great, maybe we could revisit that and see if you want to move on after those 10 or 15 years and sublease for the 5, and if it's somebody that we can find that is creditworthy and reputable and will be a sufficient anchor for them all, then I think we can come to some sort of agreement on that. But honestly, I feel like that's a little bit too far down the road to even say anything conclusive about that. But I mean, it is important to kind of remember and think it over so that we know in the future to address those issues if they do arise. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, definitely. No, thank you. I appreciate you answering that. And so I think so far, you've covered quite a lot of our concerns. Is there any questions that you...
Going back to the subleasing, if we were able to basically find a company or store that you guys are comfortable with, so basically what I'm trying to get at is, can we sublease? But before we sublease to anyone, can we run them by across you to check? So that way we're able to sublease, and then at the same time you're able to benefit it too, because you'll be familiar with the company. You already know what their goals and ideas are, so that way we kind of have that middle ground. So we would be able to sublease, and you guys would be able to feel comfortable having us sublease to them.
Okay,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, I just want to confirm: is this prior to or
this is
after?
for after the 10 years.
After the 10 years. Okay. I'd be Comfortable with saying that if we appreciate the referrals that you would have, and that would be beneficial for us if it's somebody that does fulfill our standards and is large enough. So yeah, if by then, say the 10 years comes around, I think that's something that we would be comfortable with.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Would it bring you more comfort as well knowing, because as mentioned, we do have many stores where we've had the ability to sublease and assign. And so would it also bring you more comfort knowing that we wouldn't just bring just anyone into the store out of desperation? I know that if we did out of desperation, that would just hurt us even more, just bringing in anybody. And so I guess I'm just trying to bring you more comfort knowing that we have been able to do this for a lot of years. And so with our expertise, I know you guys have your expertise, because you guys have done very well for yourselves. Would that bring you more comfort in giving us the ability to sublease or assign? Well, sublease knowing that we wouldn't just hire anybody, and we would definitely keep the satellites in mind.
So yeah, and I appreciate that question, and kind of where I'm at with that is mostly, we're just getting to know each other now, and obviously relationships are built upon trust and time, and as of right now, from my initial impression of your company, I feel comfortable with that. After the 10 years, maybe renegotiating that. But I can't say indefinitely, because I believe over those 10 years we need to get to know each other a little bit better and see how you perform as a company and see if that's something trustworthy. So what I'm mostly saying is it depends upon your performance and how well we can work together to meet each other's needs. So with that, I'd say yes. I just want to be completely transparent with that, just so you know what's expected of both of us in the end. And I also wanted to kind of confirm with you some terms of the agreement so we can kind of get the ball rolling with it, because it seems like you're comfortable with the 10-year initial lease and then a potential 5-year grace period where you could help us sublease or find a new tenant or a new anchor. With the agreed upon amount that we discussed last time, I believe it was $5.62 a square foot, and then plus a certain amount for if you're doing well in gross revenue, which has all been previously stated, and I believe that you guys said that you're comfortable with that price.
Right. Yeah. We agreed. Yeah, we agreed on those terms. Yeah.
Okay, and then if you're comfortable with that, I think we can go ahead and sign, unless there's any other terms that need to be addressed or any other issues or concerns.
I guess I just want to confirm on the terms that we've agreed on so far, just to confirm that we're on the same page. So I guess currently we have the 10 years, and then we'll reevaluate how things are going, how the market's doing, and then we will. If things are going great, then we'll continue on with the lease. If not, then we'll give a 5-year grace period for you guys to find a new anchor. And then we will leave the lease, and then you'll have your new anchor. And then in regards to, and then we'll discuss the possibility of subleasing during that time, depending on how much we are hurting if the market doesn't do well.
Yes.
And then we will also, so that was in regards to that, and then also we talked about the ability to bring new products into the market. So we talked about what was mentioned, maybe using other satellites to put our products into the satellites market, into their stores, which I believe would be okay with that.
Yeah. So basically, what you said, Carly, was you would. So if we were basically, you want us to write a statement so that you guys can say yes or no. And then if you guys say yes, then that's great, awesome. If you guys do say no, you gave me the impression that we would be able to perhaps sell our product to those other satellite stores. That way we do have brand awareness, and at the same time, we do make some profit off of it. But another thing, kind of going back to what I said, was, will we be, I mean, like you said, as long as it's not huge changes to the whole company or our reputation, and as long as they're like small significant changes, are we still able to like at least guarantee a couple changes in throughout this whole 10-year lease, or are we still restricted to that? If you do say no, then we have to sell to basically our competitors. But is that, because you said you'd come back to it, so that's like another thing I would want to clear up.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up for me. You're basically spot on with that, and I believe that we would be able to approve a few, as long as they're softer goods, not as hard of goods, we'd be able to approve that. No problem, and I see that happening in the future, in all honesty. If they are harder goods, that would fiercely compete with some of our other satellites, then that would be an opportunity where we would potentially sell it. Like, we would connect you with the satellite and you could sell it to them.
Yeah.
If you think of like licensing with like great value at Walmart, an example is Cheez-Its. So Cheez-Its, in order to expand their market reach and initial consumer base, what they've done is they sold they allow Great Value to produce Cheez-Its that are the exact same as the Cheez-It brands, but brand them as Great Value, and they're able to receive a significant amount of income through that. So just a real life example of kind of how that works.
Yeah.
And what kind of gave me the idea for you guys, so that you don't feel restricted in any way, that you're able to do your business freely, but like I said, it's just important to do it within the legal bounds that have been set.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to put it. What do you think, Cody?
I understand where you're coming from. I guess still, and as we mentioned, it is just a concern of it's just troubles with our business model, just of how things kind of work within our business model of we're constantly adapting, and we're continuously finding ways to improve our business, and so just having that lack of ability to do that, I guess that's just kind of is what's difficult for us. And then also something else that we like to do is sometimes we have a test store where we test things out, and then we bring it out to everyone else because we found it to be profitable for discount. And so let me think. What if we considered the option of I had it a second ago. The ability to, if discount was able to, so let's say we want to bring a new product into the store, and just we don't have any plans right now, so we're not saying this just because we have this plan already set and we're wanting to bring something in. We would.
So let me clarify.
Go ahead.
Are you just wanting to learn how much leeway you have, and kind of seeing if you were to do this as your test store, if you'd be able to do that? If
it came to that, and like I said, we actually don't have any plans right now. We're just thinking for the future.
Okay.
What if we had the ability to, and this would have to be okay with my partner as well, but the ability to be able to, let's say we have a product they want to bring into the market, and it doesn't get maybe if it doesn't get approved, then we go for the idea that you suggested, where we then have the ability to put that product into the satellite store and then have that as our brand. I don't know.
So just to clarify, you said basically give it to the satellite store, and then they get a certain, let's say, percentage, and then we get the rest of the.
Yeah. So, but if we get the product approved, then we are allowed to just keep it within our store.
Yes, that's correct. And as for the test store, and I'm sure you do a lot of analytics and data research on this, and if you decide that this location is the best for your test store, then you would just need to, or we'd have to go over the written consent, and I'm sure we'd be able to approve large portion of that at the very least. We would just need to know kind of what's going on and making sure, again, like everything is within the legal bounds. Okay. And so we, to sum up, I guess, our whole conversation thus far, we are completely willing to give you the freedom that you desire. However, it has to be within the legal bounds, and we are willing to work with you to be flexible, to adjust whatever we need. That would still fit both of our interests. Does that make sense? Any other questions?
I don't think so. Just quick question, what percentage, so you said we can set it to a satellite company, what percentage of, I guess, revenue would we receive from our product?
What do you believe is a fair percentage?
I mean, personally, since I think it's our product, it's our idea, we're kind of, working with you guys to give up a little bit. I'd say, 70% of the profit, if we could have that. Because, I mean, it is our product. We do definitely want to sell it, and, we're working with you guys, so, we're not doing it the way that we want to. We're doing it kind of the way that you guys want to, which again, it's within that, those legal bounds that you're talking about, but do you think that would seem fair?
So I, before I answer that question, I just have a few ideas popped in my mind, and that's, just want to clarify, do you plan to sell your product, say this situation goes through, do you plan to sell your product and get the 70%?
So what would happen is basically if I have this, brand new soap, and I'm like, Carly, can I sell this brand new soap in our store? And you say no. Could we, use, the other option would be to sell it to our satellite stores. So whatever they make off of the profit, basically we get, it doesn't have to be 70%, but that's an idea of the basically revenue from that product that's pretty much ours. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the way that I see it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, there are a few ways to go about this. So you can either sell it to them for a retail price, get full profit on it, and that's basically like a guaranteed income for you. Yeah. Rather than just keeping it in your stores and only selling like 90% of your stock. Or you can go about the way that you said. I think even 75% would be more fair. If, say, you were just to give it to them, the only thing they had to do was just set it up in their store, and then they got 50% from that. Or, sorry, they got 25% from that, and you got the 75%. So, the way that I see it is if you sell it to them, with your brand and everything, you would get with guaranteed 100% of the revenue from that product.
So are you guaranteeing that they'll buy our product? Because we can't, again, like you said, it's not like, I don't think it would be 100% to be like, whoa, I can't sell this here, so you guys have to buy it, That's why I kind of want to bring in that, we'll give it to them and we'll take a certain percentage, because they might not need or want the product. They might say, where are we going to benefit? So that's where they would benefit. So that would guarantee, us making some business in case they don't want to sell. So I do like your first idea. So that's kind of like where I would aim at. I would try to sell it to them. If they did, and if they don't want to, can we work like that? Basically, they would sell it pretty much for us with basically like percentage that they would keep with, and then we would remain with the rest.
And I think we could provide that option. I think options are golden, and it might make them feel more inclined to sell your product. And even if they're like hardball, like, no, I absolutely will not sell this product, which I highly doubt would happen, then we have plenty of business contacts all around the country, all around the world even, and we'd be willing to connect you with those contacts to ensure that your products are sold. So we have many resources at our disposal, as I'm sure you do as well, and I appreciate this time that we've spent kind of going back and forth, addressing those and getting creative with our solutions with it. Is that something that you'd be confident in? And like,
definitely, yeah. Basically, as long as we get our product, out there, I think I'm definitely comfortable with that. And thank you for those options that you provided. I do appreciate that very much.
Awesome.
Anything else you wanted to?
I think that sounds good.
All right, I think we can go ahead and sign. Awesome. Thank you guys.
Okay,
Awesome.
thank you.